Anybody in the universe or any of its parallel realms, I'm bringing you the news. Retro news. It's new. News and news. I'll just get retro news. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to talk about Hyperkin's RetroN 77. Yeah, there's been a lot of RetroN devices over the years. The RetroN 3 and the RetroN 5 come to mind. There's a new RetroN HD. But this one got my attention a little bit extra special. See, I'm a fan of the Retro Freak, because the Retro Freak is more what I was hoping for when I was reading about the RetroN 5. But let's just forget about that for a moment, because that doesn't mean I'm not interested in Hyperkin and what they might be doing. And this does interest me. It's the RetroN 77. It's a clone Atari 2600. Yeah, there's been clone Atari 2600 consoles back in the day when Atari 2600 was the current most popular system. Just about everybody cloned that system because you just could get away with it. So it's nothing special, but this is an HD one. I'm perfectly fine with old school AV cables. I don't need HDMI, but an HD Atari 2600, that interests me. And I'm looking forward to this. I really am. You can plug Atari 2600 controllers into it, also known as Atari Video Computer System controllers. The Atari VCS or Atari 2600. Two different names for what's basically the same system. They're different versions of the console, of course. But yeah, you can plug your old Atari controllers into this thing. Well, let's face it, you're going to want to use a Sega Genesis controller. Yeah, that's really what you want to be playing your Atari 2600 games with. Sega had awesome controllers. But there's some oddities about this. For one, it's only reported to play Atari 2600 games. Really? The Atari 7800 also played Atari 2600 games. So I'm thinking, a slot for Atari 2600 could easily also handle Atari 7800. Just saying, there should be some support there for Atari 7800. This would make this device really special because not everybody has an Atari 7800. Atari 2600s were all over the place. Atari 7800s, little less so, you know what I'm saying? So I would hope that this would do Atari 7800 as well. And since this is an emulation device, this is not a recreation of the internal chips exactly. This device is going to use emulation. I've read or heard somewhere it uses the Stella emulator. I believe that's the emulator they use, or some variation of it. So why not add an Atari 7800 emulator to this thing? Maybe it will have that. Maybe it will have that because a slot that it can handle Atari 2600 should also be able to handle Atari 7800. This thing outputs HD and you'll be able to play it in your original standard definition size image the way I think it should be played, but you'll also be able to warp it to widescreen, which I think is a weird idea, but it could serve a purpose. For example, when I hook my Retro Freak up to an older television, I use a device that turns the HDMI signal, which is widescreen, squishes it down into a standard screen image, but there's no option to add black lines, so there's no letterboxing, so it warps the image. So I suppose if you want to use a video converter to play your HDMI output on an old standard definition television, if your converter is like the one I've been using with my Retro Freak, you're going to actually want to warp your Atari 2600 games to widescreen so that converter can squish it back down to the proper size for your TV screen. Yeah, I know, weird, but whatever. But anyway, yeah, so there is a purpose to warping your Atari 2600 games, but yeah, however, whatever it's set to in the end result, I myself would want my Atari 2600 games to be standard definition size and shape, but a high resolution is just fine by me. I'm really looking forward to checking out this device. And hey, if you find me bringing you the news remotely interesting, feel free to check out more of my videos.